Scott. Ask Scott.
Hey Scott, how's it going? I appreciate all the information you're giving us. But a quick question. I heard you say don't go into the electronics market if you are new to FBA selling. My question is, if I were to find a very good supplier, high quality product, and say there are very minimal issues, just issues that are standard to electronics, is electronics a high profitable market to go into? Thanks.
Well, thank you so much for the question. And I didn't catch your name on that one. You had a really good audio connection there too. So if you guys can do me a favor, if you submit a question, just submit your first name as well. Just say who it is and then maybe where you're tuning in from and then the brief question. But anyway, I'm going to answer this question. I think it's a good question. I have talked about that. Like, what are the products that I generally will stay away from? And it's definitely electronics. That and probably glass or knives or something like that, right? But something that can break, that's really what I'm looking at, or a liability issue. Think about this for a second. If you have an electronic product and one little wire comes, basically, detached, or maybe it just wasn't attached at the factory, and now 1,000 of those don't work. And then you start getting reviews of people saying the product doesn't work. And you've got 950 of them left in stock. Now you got to pull that order. Then you got to talk to the factory, see if they'll make good on it. And then you got to get rid of them and ship them back or destroy them or whatever, right? That's the things that you're thinking about. So my thing is like, I'm not opposed to doing this. Like you mentioned, if you find a good supplier, like a really, really good supplier, maybe you've done a ton of different tests, and maybe you have an inspection company that can go in there and really, look at the factory, make sure it's, really up to par and all that stuff. I'm not opposed to that, but I am kind of opposed to not doing it if you're just starting out. Like if you're just starting out, like it's one more thing that can break, right? It's one more thing. And I don't even mean the product. I'm saying like in this, in this journey for you to start from scratch, have something that you sell, that's one thing. Like there's a whole bunch of different things in the middle there, right? Like you got to find the product, then you got to find the supplier, then you got to, work through all those kinks. Then if you want to do C-shipping, you got to figure out that, which I say always start with air in the beginning, even though you're going to spend more, just so you can cut down on those headaches. And then from there, you got to get your listing created. And then from there, you got to do a launch and all that stuff. So all that stuff goes into it. And then imagine having all that work be done, and then you find out that 1,000 of your units are just not working, or they're broken, or they stop working after a day, or something like that. Like that would be terrible. Okay. Now to some people that's an opportunity. Some people it's like, well, that's especially Scott's saying not to do electronics. Maybe we should do that. That way, and you're right. If you want to basically go where people aren't going, you're going to have less competition, but you are also going to have more risk. It's the same thing with bigger products. People are saying, well, I'm just going to go and sell bigger products, oversized products, more expensive products because less people are doing it. And you're right. But you also have the risk of if something goes wrong with those products, you're out a lot more capital. Or let's just say, for example, you start getting a ton of refunds. Those refunds are going to hurt a lot more than a $5 product, right? But is there opportunity there? Yes. Whenever there is not people going there, there's more opportunity, but there's also more risk, right? So you just have to balance that out. I'm not going to sit here and tell you to don't do it. I'm saying if you think that you've done all of the research and you've done all the vetting of the manufacturers and you've done tests and you feel good about it, then go for it. But I'm not comfortable with that. Like even right now, like me to take $5,000 and throw it down on an electronic product, like I don't want to take that risk right now. Like just me personally. And that doesn't mean in the future I won't, but right now, currently, I don't want to go down that road. But if you want to do it, go for it. Anyone else listening? I mean, again, you just have to understand the risks that are involved. All right. So if you are going to do it, just like I said, just make sure you do your research, not just on the product, but on the company. Right? Because it's important that you do that. If you can do it US based, it might even be a little bit better because then you have a little bit more control and maybe you can even go and fly there and meet the manufacturer and do all that stuff. But if you're going to do that, you got to treat that serious. I mean, you really do because one product that comes through defective electronically that just doesn't turn on and off, you're you're out of luck. All right. So hopefully this has helped you, gave you a little something to think about. Again, I don't want to discourage you. I just want to make you aware of all of the things involved here. That's it. That's all I'm doing. But it is an opportunity. If you guys want to submit a question, head over to theamazingseller.com/ask, and you can do that. I want to also, again, remind you guys, if you're brand new and this is your first time to the show, I want to welcome you. I love hanging out with you guys. This is just awesome to be able to virtually connect like this. And that's why I love the Ask Scott sessions. But if you are brand new and you're just getting your feet wet and you don't understand the entire process, the entire business model, I would recommend attending one of my live free workshops. This is where I break it down for you in 5 phases: how to pick a market and a product, how to source it, how to do a pre-launch, how to do a launch, how to promote the product, and everything in between. We go over that on a workshop, and we go through every single thing. We also do live Q&A. So if you want to attend one of them, I would love to invite you to the next one, and you can register for the next one by heading over to theamazingseller.com/workshop, and you can register there for an upcoming workshop. Well, hey there. Thank you so much for listening to that episode of Ask Scott. Now, that was just a highlight from one of our full episodes where I generally answer 3 to 4 questions on a podcast. If you want to go back and listen to all of the past archives of not just the Ask Scott session, but all of the full episodes where I do interviews with top Amazon sellers, people starting from scratch and building a business, if you want to listen to any of those episodes, head over to theamazingseller.com, and you can find all of that over there. You can also find details there on how you can ask your own question and get it aired on an upcoming Ask Scott session, and possibly see it here on YouTube or just on the podcast. All right, so definitely head over to theamazingseller.com. There's tons of resources over there for you to be able to build your e-commerce and Amazon business. So definitely go check that out. Now, I just wanted to remind you one thing before I let you go. There's a lot of information out there, and some of it is really, really good. But what I want you to remember is you have to not just consume the information, you have to actually apply that information. So take this information that you learned here today and apply it to your business. And this way here, you can get results. As my shirt says, I wear it almost daily. Take action. We'll see you guys.